The interesting part of turning on and off your computer is there is a battery that's inside your computer. Now, most computers today have what's called a lithium ion battery. That uses a certain amount of cycles. So every time you plug your charger in, it starts charging it up. Once it gets to 100%, that's a cycle. Goes back down to 99%, that's a cycle because it's trying to get back up to that 100%. It goes down to 74%. You plug it up, it goes from 74 to 100. That's typically a cycle. So in that time frame, they've got about 5,000 to 10,000 life cycles, depending on what battery you have. So if you leave your computer plugged up, it's slowly draining all of those cycles. So what I tell people and what I would tell you is only charge your computer when you're at 20%, 10%. Same goes for your phone or your iPad or whatever you're using. Is let that battery drain down a little bit. It's going to help you in the long run. It's going to give you a longer lasting battery life because more than likely you either are this person or you know this person that their battery is so drained from being plugged in all the time that they have to carry their charger with them whenever they want to use their computer. If they want to use their computer, they have to find an outlet to plug it into. That's basically having a desktop. It's not a laptop anymore. It's not portable. It's not as professional looking having that plugged in all the time. So I implore you to seek to only charge up your computer when you have 20% or less. Now, if you're going on a trip or something like that, I get that. But now, the next thing that I want to discuss is why does it say that I need to restart my computer, or what does it mean to put my computer to sleep? Those are both great questions. And when it comes to maybe updating your computer or doing certain things that require a restart, that just means that the computer is going to shut down. It's going to install the proper equipment that it needs to inside the computer, and then it's going to reboot itself. You don't have to do any other work. It is going to do everything for you. You just have to hit the restart button and then let it do its thing. Now, it's a little bit different from sleep, because sleep, what that entails is you're literally just putting your computer in a locked mode. So what that does is it keeps other people from, like, let's say I was at a coffee shop and I was working on a project. If I'm getting up to go get my coffee, I don't want somebody to just walk up and log onto my computer or put something on there that I don't know about. But I don't want to shut down my computer completely. So what am I going to do? What I'll do is I can go to either, if I'm on a Windows computer, I would go to the bottom left-hand side of the screen. There is a little window pane. I would click on it, and then there's a section that says Power. Right there is a button that says Sleep. So when you click that button, it gives you the ability to come back to your computer, mash a button, type in your password, and get right back to work where you were before. Now, in that instance, if you are getting up and you are getting ready to leave and you don't think that you're going to be using your computer for that day or at least 7 to 8 hours, I would go ahead and turn your computer completely off. Now, you can do that a few different ways. You can do that by holding down the power button, which is the most aggressive way to do it. You could go up to the you can go to the top of your computer. If you're using an Apple product, click on the Apple icon, scroll to the bottom and click shut down. Or if you're using a Windows computer, you can click on the bottom left-hand corner, scroll up and click on shut down. Now, I've often had people curious on, is it best to shut down? My thing is are you more worried about saving battery life, or are you more worried about protecting your computer over the long run? And so if you're going to be away from your computer for 7 to 8 hours, don't see yourself using it, I say go ahead and shut it down. You can pick it back up tomorrow, and we'll get started on a few other things. So the next thing I want to talk about is how do you know that you are connected to Wi-Fi? Now I'm going to share my screen with you to kind of show you what that looks like and how I know that I'm connected to Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, share screen, and I will share this bad boy. So if I click here, so if I look here at the top of my screen, I can see that I have Wi-Fi turned on and that this one particular spot is illuminated. Now, if I look, there's also a lock. Now, if I'm just looking at this from a particular standpoint, I can see that this right here is all lit up. It is boldened in black. And so I can tell that I'm connected, but if I wasn't sure, I could see right here that this item right here is highlighted in blue. Now, if you're on a Windows device, that Windows device is going to look a little bit different. Windows device, there is a section in the bottom right toolbar. That bottom right toolbar will have a little icon. It'll either be a little Earth or it will have a Wi-Fi symbol. When you click on that, it will pop up a whole list of connected of Wi-Fi routers or Wi-Fi signals that are available in your area. So for you, you want to look at it and say, which one is mine? If you don't know, I would go check your router. Now, what is a router? I've actually got an older one here. If I were to unplug the current one that I'm using, you wouldn't be able to see me because that's how I'm connected to the internet. So this is an older model. And so what is interesting about this is I will show you a few different things on it, the back pieces of it, everything like that. But this particular router gives us the ability to connect to the internet. So it takes a router and a modem. Now, I'm sure you're gonna ask, what's the difference between a router and a modem? Which one do I need? How do I know I have which one? And it's different for every person. So if you do have questions about that, please leave them in the comments, or maybe give me like an email address or something I could reach you at. And I would love to talk to you about it and maybe diagnose what you've got going on there. But for today, we just want to talk about how do I know that I'm connected to Wi-Fi? So what you would do is you would click on where you find your Wi-Fi connection, either on a Mac like I did earlier, or in the bottom right-hand toolbar on your Windows machine. Now, I know a lot of people said, Christopher, what about tablets? And we're going to get into tablets soon. I promise. I promise we will. But right now we're just talking about computers. So if you're in a Windows computer and you click on the bottom right-hand toolbar and you click on the network and properties and things that you see on the side, it will give you a list of different networks that are available. Now, once you find your own, you should be able to see whether or not it says connected or not connected. It will probably also say secured or not secured. So once you click on yours, you'll need to find your Wi-Fi password or your network key. Now, in that instance, how do you find that? Where do I get that information? Now, most people, most consumers, they use the router modem combo that comes with their internet provider. Now, there's pros and cons to that. But today, if you have a router modem combo that your internet provider has given you, then you're in luck. There's a lot of pros to it, a lot of good things to it. And so one of them is they actually have a system that's built in that when you set it up, they can tell you what your Wi-Fi password is. You can call in and ask. You can go online and check what it is. And if you guys want to see what that looks like, I'd be happy to show you. We can even do that in the next lesson. That's something that you're interested in. But not only that, but also on a lot of routers that are given to you by your internet service provider is written on the box. So if you go to the box, you can actually see the name of your network and the name of your password. And so if you don't have that written down, if you haven't changed it, I'd highly recommend you write it down. And I also would highly recommend that you change it. So, but we can get into that at a later date. But next question is how do I know I'm getting what I'm paying for? So I'm going to share my screen once more. And what that's going to look like is this thing right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this thing called OOKLA speed test. ooklaspeedtest.com. I'm going to test what speed I'm getting currently. So what I'll do is I'll just hit go. What this does is don't worry about all these other ads and everything like that. But once you hit go, it will connect and let you know what your speeds are. So you can click here and it starts telling you, hey, this is the speed you're working with. Now, most of the time, if you're between 25 and 50, that's a pretty good speed for streaming certain things. Now, if you have multiple devices like I do, and you have multiple, and you're running multiple things, or you're streaming multiple things, or you're doing certain things like this, you want a little bit higher speed. And so we're paying for about 200 megabytes per second, and right now we're getting about 170. And so I'd say that's pretty good. We've got a higher upload speed, but yeah, that's where we're working at currently. And so what I would encourage you to do is try it out for yourself. Look at your internet bill and say, hey, how much am I paying for? Because if you're paying for 50 and you're getting 4, that's a problem. I've actually had a couple of clients who've contested it with their internet service providers and told them they didn't want to pay the bill because they weren't getting what was promised to them. And so they should be able to walk you through what's going on and make sure you feel confident with the things that are ahead. But if not, I'd love to take any phone calls or any emails, questions that you may have to help you on this journey to kind of get you where you want to be. So next thing I want to do is I want to go to the tablets real quick, and I want to talk about how do we turn those on? How do we turn those off? Should I get a tablet? Do I need one? Now, it also depends on what you do, what you're looking to do. And for me, I love a tablet. I think they're great. But also, if you're between the ages of 55 and 75, there was a research study shown that says people ages 55 to 75 actually enjoy using a tablet more. They find it easier to use and more intuitive. So if you're looking for something that surfs the web, who says surfs the web anymore? I guess I do. But for something that not only does email, you're able to play games, you're able to get all the information that you want. A lot of people do banking on their devices now, and just stay in touch with friends and family. A tablet is a great option. Now, currently I have the iPad Pro, and not necessarily something that everyone needs. If you are looking to buy a tablet, I highly recommend Apple's iPad that recently came out. It is, I believe, $329, and that is a full-fledged iPad. It will do everything that you want it to do, and it's great. But the one I use is a little bit higher end just because of what I do and what I'll need it for. So if we look here, right now my iPad is asleep or locked. So what this means is, forgive the fingerprints, I apologize, I actually use it. But So when I tap it, it wakes up. And so right now we can see that it is locked because there's a little lock. There's my little puppy dog right there. But the way that you can unlock it, now this one uses a face ID, so it scans my face, and now I'm able to get into it. But the way that we turn it on and off is more than likely there's a button. There's like a master button that is on every single tablet. That mine is actually at the top, and I can just hold this button down. And when I do, I can actually turn it on and turn it off. Now, with this particular model, it actually requires me to hold these two buttons, and it actually asks me to slide to power off. So with yours, more than likely, if you're using a Google tablet or an Android tablet, then you would only have to push that one master button. That one master button is going to shut it down completely, and you will be good to go. So now most tablets actually have a very good way of saving energy. And so my iPad has actually been on for a week since I've last used it, and it's at 72%. So that's pretty good. But so it's been on this entire time. So it saves a lot of battery. I think tablets are a great option for anybody. Next thing that I want to do is, how do you know if you're connected on your tablet? What we'll do now is we'll just go into our settings. And then once we go to settings, there's actually a tab right here on the left-hand side. Now, this is going to be in almost every tablet that you see, is you can actually click on Wi-Fi. Once you click on Wi-Fi, you can see all the list of available networks here. And then if you see a check mark, like the one we see here, that means that I am connected. If I wanted to join a new network, I could click on said network, and it would ask me then for the password. So for me, I'm going to stay connected to the one I'm currently on, but I want to make sure that you guys know how to connect. Now, what's interesting is a lot of people ask me is, hey, when I go to my friend's house, when I go to a timeshare that we may have, how do I get connected there? Just like you did on your computer, just like we did on the tablet. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to our settings, or we're going to go to where our Wi-Fi is located. If we're on a Mac, it's going to be in the top right-hand corner. If we're on a PC or an Android tablet or anything of the sort, it's typically on the bottom right. And we'll click on network, and we should be able to see a list of available networks. Click on the one that we want, and then type in the password. Now, the key is to get the right password. It's often very easy to have a Wi-Fi password that we're not sure of. So a lot of people write when they see that there is a network, they go, Christopher, why is there a lock on it? And I say, because it's locked. You have to have the right key to get in. So if I invited David to come over to my house, but I didn't give him a key, or I wasn't there, how would he get in? So I would need to give him the password to get in. So when you go somewhere, ask them for what the Wi-Fi password is. Now, another nifty thing is if you have an Apple device and you're friends with someone who is already on the network, there's a button that will show up on your friend's screen that says, share this password. So now, without you having to do anything, you could push a button that says share my password, and wouldn't have to worry about a thing. So now, next thing I want to talk about is, how do you protect yourself? How do you, and I know some people, we're in the South. No, hey, easy. But how do you protect yourself when it comes to your computer security? How do you protect yourself against viruses or malware or any of the sort? So for me, with an Apple computer, there is a basically antivirus that's already pre-installed that they do to keep you away from a lot of viruses and things like that. But what I personally use is a thing called Malwarebytes. Now, if you've been following along, I've also mentioned this previously, but it is malwarebytes.com. And I'm going to get David to go ahead and put that up on the ticker, and I'm going to type it in so he can see exactly how it's spelled. Now, if you go there, there's actually a free version. If you'd like to pay for it, you can. I do believe it's about $15, but you can use the free version there, and it will definitely take care of you when it comes to malware. Now, when it comes to antivirus, there's tons of new ones that come out all the time. But the two that I've currently used or I've used recently are WebRoot and Norton. Now, WebRoot is a little bit more higher end. Now, Norton is going to be one that you typically have already heard of. But a lot of people will say, well, I have Norton through my internet provider, or I got Norton from a friend that did this. Don't do that. Don't do it. So Norton is about $35 when you buy it, and when you load it up onto your device, it will work the way it's supposed to work. If you get it from your internet service provider, it is very heavy on your computer and it will slow it down immensely. So you actually may have a fast computer and a fast internet, but it is your antivirus that is slowing your computer down. So be careful when it comes to those situations. So that's one of the things that I wanted to touch base on and say, hey, when it comes to how you protect yourself on your computer, that's one of the main things. Now, the next thing is how do I search on my computer and my tablet? So once again, we're just going through certain basics and we're revisiting them just because a lot of people may have not seen previous episodes. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you. And what this is going to do is it's going to show us what everything looks like and how we can search on our computers. So first, we're just going to do our computer, and then we can go into a tablet. But it's going to look essentially the same. So most of the time when you open up your computer, you're going to have a search engine of sorts. Now, if you've joined us in a previous episode, then you'll recognize why I'm using DuckDuckGo. For those who are very interested in their security and making sure that they are not tracked while using the computer, DuckDuckGo is a fantastic search engine that will help you in that entity of staying safe and untracked. So they value very much privacy. They value privacy very much. But the thing that I'm going to go into is I'm going to search for literally anything. So I can just type in tree. And when I type that and I hit search, it actually gives me the ability to search certain things. If I want to, I can do another search either here or I can do it up here. So if I go here, I can say, and we know that we're searching through DuckDuckGo because we can see the same icon here as we do here. So if I wanted to say, I'm looking for, which I'm not a Georgia Bulldogs fan, but don't hate me, I'm sorry, Georgia Bulldogs football. I could click there. And now I see the same information that I would see on Google. I see all the different things that I would see here. And I have the ability to find these without being tracked. Now, the other thing is it depends on what I'm looking for specifically. There's also multiple different categories. So now if I look here, I can see there's a few different categories up top. So maybe I'm looking for an image to make my background. So let's see. This guy looks like he's beating this dude up right here. So if I click on this, I can see more of this photo. So I have the ability to view it. I have the ability to right click on it and save the image, do a whole bunch of different things with it. But if I'm not looking to do that, maybe I'm trying to find a specific video. So then I can see that these are all videos that pertain to Georgia football. Now, with Valentine's Day just happening, I actually just spent a bunch of money on this girl I just started dating. And so maybe I'm looking for something where it comes to shopping. So for the Georgia football lover in your family, maybe you want to look at buying them something and you don't really know where to look. I can actually go here and I can see, hey, I could get this quick toss bulldog by Rawlings for $3, which that's pretty cool, I guess, if that's what you're looking for. But at the same time, I was able to find this without searching Walmart and Target and Best Buy and every single other thing that's out there. I was able to literally just type it in and it searched it for me. I was able to find things in a faster way than I typically would. So now I'm able to look at all these different things here by clicking on all, and it gives me my breakdown. It gives me recent news. It gives me videos. It gives me a whole gaggle of different things. But it depends on what you're looking for. Whether you want to search here or up here, you have that option. Now, if that's something that you really enjoy and you maybe want to come back to, on Chrome, it gives you the ability to bookmark this tab. So you can always come back to this specific spot. Now, the next thing is how do I do this on a tablet? Now, on a tablet, you're going to have your own web browser. And what a web browser is it is an application or a program that allows you to surf the web. So some people use Google Chrome, some people use Firefox. It'd be really cool if I had them just like show up in my hands. David, he's working on that. I know it. I know he is. But some people use Google Chrome, some people use Firefox, some people use Internet Explorer. Some people use Safari. So if you're on an Apple product, then you're more than likely using Safari. But on almost every single one of these platforms, there's a search bar that is at the top. And depending on your search engine, that is how you are going to search. Now, why do I bring this up? Is because I think that overcoming your fear of technology and finding out what's important to you is going to be the key to your success with enjoying and being satisfied with technology. So overcome that fear, type up what you're interested in looking for. There's a lot of things out there that I think are going to be super beneficial for you. Also, highly recommend that you try out some games. There was a recent study done by a particular Ivy League college. I don't remember which one offhand, but they noticed an increase in brain activity, memory retention, and overall happiness for seniors who actually played games on their technology. And so one that I'd highly recommend is Words with Friends. I currently play that with my parents, and it's a good time. We have a lot of fun, and it's basically online Scrabble. And so, yeah, it's a great way to play with friends and hang out. But a few other things that we have listed in our time is where are you saving your information? So when it comes to your email, when it comes to your documents, your folders, your files, your photos, where is that information being saved? Now, your emails are already saved on your server, and that's not going to go anywhere unless you delete them off the server. But your documents, your folders, your files, your photos, a lot of F's in there. Is that being saved to your iCloud? Is it being saved to OneDrive? Is it being saved to other places? You tell me. Now, what I always recommend to every single person who buys a computer is one of these guys. And it's basically just a giant flash drive, or as some people call it, a thumb drive. It's basically a giant thumb drive. And so it's known as an external hard drive. Now, you can buy these at Walmart, Best Buy, Target, Office Max, Office Depot, whatever is in your area. You have the ability to buy those, and they run typically around $60 to $100. And so, depending on the size of your computer and how much you want to back up, having a external hard drive is going to be super beneficial. So I have two of these. One of these goes with me and stores information and data, and the other one I keep in a fireproof safe. So this one backs up my computer once a week, and the one that I have in the safe backs it up every 3 to 6 months. So I have a reminder on my calendar, and it tells me, hey, it is time to back up your computer. Now, that sounds very crazy, and it sounds hard. And what's the point? And the thing is if I changed a period on my Word document, then when I plug this guy in, it will back up the entire computer, even if the only change is a period. And it will make sure all of it's there. And if I lost my computer, if it got broken, if it decided to take a swim, anything of the above, I would have the ability to take one of these, plug it into my new computer, and I would have everything that I had before. All my folders, all my photos, all my files, as organized as I already had it. It would look the exact same. And so for most of us, a lot of data is now going on to technology. And so having that information and being able to recall it is very important. Now, some people like to use online entities to back up their information. That's totally okay. You can do that. I'm a little paranoid, and so I like to have the online version and the hard copy. And so this is your hard copy. So, when it comes to backing up your computer, what you can do, depending on what you have, it's different for everybody. But if we just talk about a Mac computer, you would just plug it in, set everything up. It'll prompt you once you get on the screen, and it would say, hey, would you like to use this to back up your computer? You say yes, and then every time you plug it in, it will back up your computer. I plug mine in about 9 o'clock and let it run overnight, and then I unplug it when I wake up the next morning. So I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to do anything. It just automatically does it for me. So when you set yours up, please let me know how it goes. If you have any questions or concerns, I would love to know. But I think that a lot of people think it's difficult to back up your computer or to save your information. I literally plug it in and then I leave. That's it. It will tell me if it's been successful, if it's backed up, everything of that nature. But I highly recommend that you get one, because I've heard countless horror stories. When I used to work at Apple, we had a lady who had a bad hard drive in her computer, and she had every picture of her kids, every single picture she had ever taken of her kids from birth to 10, and she had 3 kids. Every single picture was lost, and there was no way for her to get that information back. And so having to tell someone who's never printed out a picture of their children that every picture that she'd ever taken of them that's not on her phone is gone. And so that's a decade worth of memories. And so I don't want you guys to miss out on that. I think you guys should check it out. I think you would really enjoy it. Once you have that information and you know that you're backed up and you're secure, I think it would be a great transition for you. So now the other thing is what about those online entities that you mentioned before? So some people want to have the digital copy as well. Maybe they're traveling and they don't have the specific device. What if they just said, hey, I want to send it to the cloud. I want to send it to an online service. And so there's going to be 4 that I mentioned to you today. So the 2 cloud versions that are known as a cloud kind of based entity that most people associate with are known as iCloud and OneDrive. Now, OneDrive is a Microsoft product, and iCloud, you guessed it, is an Apple product. So iCloud has something called iCloud Drive, which is basically mirrors what's on your computer. It has a whole list of all the things that are on my computer. So I could get on my tablet, I can get on my phone, and I can pull that up, and I can pull off any file that's on my computer currently because of iCloud Drive. With iCloud, it backs up all my photos and syncs them across all the different things that I have. It has my email on there. It has my contacts on there. Has a whole list of different things. So I pay about $3 a month, and so, or 36 for the year, and I get 200 gigabytes worth of information to store there, which is great. Works well for me and what I use it for. A lot of consumers, they don't need that much, so they pay about $1 and they get 55 gigabytes. So determining how much you need is pretty important. So what I would do is I would go into your settings on your computer or your tablet and look at how much storage you have. So some people, their computers go up to gigabytes, and some people, theirs go up to a TB, or known as a terabyte. So, but both of them work in similar ways. Now, the Microsoft OneDrive, what it focuses on is your documents, your files, your folders. It can do photos. It can do a few other things, but it's kind of made for that office suite. That was the first intention of it. But the other 2 that, should you not want to use one of those, is known as iDrive. And I'll go ahead and put that in the up here for you. iDrive, and the other one is known as Carbonite. Now, they both have a lot of security features. They have a lot of remote desktops and things like that that you can use depending on what you're going to use it for. But most of them run about $6 to $7 a month, and they have varying prices on what they give you. So it just depends on what you're interested in and what you're looking for. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring David back in for a second and just kind of get his thoughts and questions. And I actually have a question for him.
I'm here.
So my question for you is, I remember last week when we were talking about word processing programs that you said you were going to try out Pages for your essay. Did you do so?
I did. So we are actually instituting a new COVID policy at Generations Unlimited for our employees. And I wrote that policy on Pages.
What were your thoughts?
It was good. It was very easy. There's a couple things that are a little bit different. I think it's a little bit of a learning curve for somebody that's never used it before. But the basic stuff that you have to do is very simple.
Yeah, for sure. And so when it comes to these different cloud options, for someone who is a little bit younger than I am, what would you say that you use, David?
For the cloud.
For the cloud.
So funny, because this is actually super relevant in my life right now. Last night, I actually dropped my phone, and I'm in this situation right now where it doesn't work as well as you would maybe want it to. It's actually turned on right now. You just can't tell because that's what the screen looks like. And so right now I use iCloud. And so I'm making sure that I back everything up to it while that screen is still a little bit responsive, so I can replace my phone and not lose anything.
Okay, great. So when it comes to different things that we've talked about so far, did you have any questions that you think our listeners would find like that you would want to dive a little bit further into?
I think that I'm really interested in kind of, maybe even potentially doing a tablet run through sometime, because doing games on tablets, like you said, is really fun and it's a good way to connect. And we're actually working on a program right now to pass out tablets to people. We are in the purchasing phase. So maybe we could get some kind of education out there before we pass out the tablets. And we can kind of do a screen view if we can figure out how to make that work. Maybe we can play some games and show how the games work, and invite people to come in.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love that. And if that's something that you would love to do, be sure to comment or email us or talk to us however you can and get that message out over at the senior centers, either at Gail Reyes or at the Blackfield Senior Center, and say, hey, like, I'd love to be a part of this, or I think that these are some great games that I already play, because you may already be looking at games. So
Yeah.
let us know. But that's all I have for you today. Is there anything else I can do for you guys?
Well, I'm going to say everybody's homework right now is to go download a game and find someone to play it with. Chris, I'll download Words with Friends, and we can play that. And that way we can come back next week and we can talk about playing some games.
We'll see who the winner is. The winner or the loser will have to wear like a baseball cap, and that way it'll be like a subtle way to let people know who won or who lost.
We love inside jokes here. Chris Crozier with Mobile Mentors, thanks so much for coming on, man. Oh, hey, we actually have a comment that says we would love to have a class on tablets. So I think we may be headed in the right direction here.
Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for commenting. Yeah. We definitely can do that, and we'll jump in there and we'll tackle it, and we'll make sure that everyone enjoys it. But hope to see you guys next week for the class, and yeah, we'll see you guys then.